don't know.
Yep,
There we go.
there it is.
There it is.
Hi, this is Ed Rising, and welcome back to Ed's Pop-O-Matic podcast, where we are doing a special episode today in tribute to Uncle Floyd, and we have a lot of guests, a lot of things to do. Hopefully, have some laughs, have some good remembrances of this talent we know as Uncle Floyd. So I'm going to turn this over to Fred Velez. Fred, can you share with us your memories and a little intro about Uncle Floyd for our audience, and then introduce the panel, please?
Okay, well, let me introduce the panel first. First, we've got an Uncle Floyd fan by the name of Bucky Blarr up there. Hi there,
Hello,
Bucky.
everybody.
We got our favorite Daniel Coston. There he goes. There he is. our very own Charles Rosenay. There he is. And then comedian par excellence, Bob Greenberg. There he is. And Ghosty from WFDUFM, who's worked alongside Uncle Floyd. So that's our panel, folks.
What about me? What about me?
Oh yeah, there's
What
Mark.
about you? Oh yeah, Ed Rising.
No, hey, you put Charles up to this, didn't you?
Like I mentioned everybody.
You didn't mention me. You
Oh
started
yeah,
with
no,
Bucky.
yeah. Where are you?
I'm
I don't
here.
see.
Wait,
Where are you? I can't
Mark?
see.
Is it Mark? The Mark.
I'm
right
Mark.
here.
Yes, Mark
Right here.
You've
Arnold.
forgotten Mark
I'm here.
Arnold.
Mark
He's
Arnold.
got Mark Arnold.
He's gotten so much publicity now.
See?
Now that's
I'm
it's a
the
ton
I'm
of it.
I'm the West Coast representation of Uncle Floyd fans.
Oh, so
And
you're
Yeah.
up early.
I'll explain myself when we
Yeah,
get to
Yeah.
it.
you're up
This-
early. Yeah, you got
Yeah.
you got the channel 68 on there. It's, up in.
Yeah, I got great reception out there. No,
You got to move the aerial this
long,
way.
those
You got to move the
long
aerial
cables,
this way.
long
Those are the
cable.
days.
You got to
Yeah.
move the area. Got to move the TV into the kitchen.
This
Right?
is like the concert for Bangladesh. We forgot Mark Arnold.
Well, thank you for letting me be here.
Yes, okay. Anyway, Uncle Floyd Vivino, he was an amazing entertainer. He's legendary in the New York, New Jersey area. He started like in the late vestiges of vaudeville and burlesque, did carnivals and stuff. Um, he was a great piano player. Uh, he had a fantastic sense of humor and a great timing, and um was very great in improvisation. He could think of bits like that, and he started his television show in 1974 as a legit kid show, but he found that while the kids were getting bored, the adults were laughing. So he switched it over. He put the adults in the in the kiddie seats, and from there it just blossomed. He was following the traditions of the great kiddie shows of the late 50s and 1960s, like Chuck McCann, Soupy Sales, Sandy Becker, shows like that. And if you look on YouTube, you can find some of the Soupy Sales and Chuck McCann shows. And if you watch the bits and everything, you hear the crew laughing in the background, right? It's just like Uncle Floyd show. That's just what they were doing. The crew and the cast were all laughing in the background, and it was so freewheeling. It was fine that way. And he went on to also do live shows. He holds pretty much a record at the old Bottom Line Club. He's performed there, I think, almost more than any other performer in the Bottom Line's history. And there's a great book that's just out called Positively Forth and Mercer, The Story of the Bottom Line. And Uncle Floyd practically dominates that book. So that's a book worth getting.
It's a great book. I bought it and read it already.
Hmm. And Bucky, since you've read the book, how much of Floyd is actually in the book?
There's a nice chapter, like where it's got to be at least 5 pages, 6 pages, just Uncle Floyd and Scott Gordon talking about memories of some of the stuff that went on there at the bottom line. Some pretty good stories on there.
Well, I ordered the book and I'm hoping to get it very soon.
He hosted the Abbott and Costello. I guess it was a celebration, and I guess it was a launch. Shinachi Entertainment had released all the Abbott and Costello shows on VHS. Really nice copies from the masters. And he hosted. There was a lookalike contest. I won second prize with my partner Rob Costello doing Abbott and Costello. There was all this stuff, and he hosted it with Vince Giordano's band. Sammy Petrello performed. Joey Faye performed.
Wow.
Buster Poindexter performed. And it's weird. They all passed, right? Buster passed.
Yeah.
Joey
David
passed.
Johansen, yeah.
And Uncle Floyd. Floyd was only 74.
74. He's not that old at all.
No.
He seemed older. Everybody said he always seemed older, but he wasn't. He was mentally older. He was somewhere else.
He used to say that he was born the wrong era. He would love to have been around during original vaudeville and stuff like that.
Well, he looked young. He looked young on. If you see the movie Good Morning Vietnam, you realize he was younger than we thought because of just how he dressed and the hat. You see him in Good Morning Vietnam with he's one of the crew, Robert Williams' crew, and that. And he's not wearing a hat and everything, and he's in a T-shirt. And you go, oh, he wasn't an old guy.
Right. Now, here's the interesting thing that his show was so unique. People loved it so much that rock stars watched the show and loved it, like David Johansen, Buster Poindexter. He was I think the first major rock star to make an appearance on the Uncle Floyd Show. Mm-hmm. And then later, bands like the Ramones appeared on the show, mm-hmm. and many others. Some have made, besides the Ramones, some have made their TV debuts on the Uncle Floyd Show, including Bon Jovi. John Bon Jovi on his official social media is showing the clips of him on the Uncle Floyd Show. So, and speaking of the Ramones, there's this DVD, The Ramones Raw,
yes,
which has clips of them on the Uncle Floyd Show. So if you can find this, I definitely recommend it.
I have.
And people like John Lennon used to love the show. They used to watch it, and David Bowie used to come to the shows, to John Lennon's house at the apartment in Dakota. And they watched the Uncle Floyd Show together with Iggy Pop.
Wow.
And there were rumors. Uncle Floyd said that there were rumors that John Lennon was interested in making an appearance on the show. Of course, sadly, that never happened.
Right.
But David Bowie did eventually write a song about Uncle Floyd called Slip Away, which is a lovely song, which is a very nice tribute to him.
Can I interrupt?
Sure.
Fred, did Uncle Floyd offer the Beatles more than Saturday Night Live to reunite?
Probably offered less.
He offered to pay their bus fare.
Yeah.
Speaking of Saturday Night Live, does anybody remember Floyd was very popular on was UHF, 68, and then NBC got him to do an hour. I think it was after Saturday Night Live. He got an hour on a network. And the ironic thing was the budget was better, the image was better, but it wasn't any funnier. You know what I mean? It was almost better on 68. And I think they tried to make it a little upscale, and it kind of hurt the show. Do you know what I mean?
Well, what it was that some syndicators bought the show, but they, being the guys in the suits, as Floyd
the suits. I was thinking that. Yes.
Called them. That they say, we got to do this. You got to do that.
Adjusted this, and it wasn't. He also, I don't think he was as comfortable. I think he liked the spontaneity. He loved to ad lib. He liked the improvisation. You're reading my mind. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he just didn't get that with the syndication. And I was a fan of his. I used to. I was at the studio when Peter Tork made it like his second appearance on the Uncle Floyd Show. At the time, Floyd said that Peter was the biggest star at that time to appear in the show. because Peter was internationally known and everything. Um, and I was at the studio, and I have great pictures of Peter at the Uncle Floyd show. And
I'm
Peter
going to show us
loved.
those pictures now, Fred.
I still have the pictures. Some of them are in my first Monkees book. A little bit me, a little bit you, the Monkees from a fan's perspective. That's in that book. And Peter loved the show. He adored it. And in fact, in 1989, when the Monkees, including Michael Nesmith, reunited and did the Walk of Fame, Hollywood Walk of Fame, Peter, I was there, and Peter introduced me to Mike and said, "I met this guy through a show called Uncle Floyd," and and you would have loved that show, Mike. It was crazy, you know. So and
Guys,
yeah, go ahead.
I,
Whoever's talking.
I have a question. So I grew up in Connecticut where I wasn't seeing Channel 68, whatever he was on. Was it similar in a time slot as the Joe Franklin show? And the reason I ask is because Jay Giles and a lot of rock stars finished their gigs, came home at night, and they'd see Joe Franklin late at night, WOR, and they say, well, he's the opposite of cool, so we'll make him cool by being on the show. What time did
I
the
think it was earlier, if I recall, like maybe
Yeah.
7 o'clock. Although the SNL ones were, of course, in Joe. That was obviously thought out. It was in Joe Franklin time slot of 1 to 2 in the morning, the NBC ones. But I think
Right.
the 68 was like 7 p.m., right? Something like that.
Yeah, it was the afternoon.
Originally Uncle Floyd was on Channel 68, like around 6 o'clock.
Okay.
It was a half-hour show, and then because the popularity grew, they extended it to an hour.
Okay.
Uh,
I remember.
and then the shows that were syndicated on NBC and around the country were about an hour long. So
That was a Joe Franklin time slot, 1 a.m. to 2.
right, and I think that Joe Franklin had sued Uncle Floyd because
Yeah, he didn't sue Billy Crystal, who actually used his name, but
right,
he called himself Joe Franklin on SNL.
yeah,
But yeah,
right.
Joe Frankfurter. He called
Joe Frankfurter, right?
Maybe I think Floyd used this big nose, and I think maybe that might have affected. I don't know. But no, I think Billy Crystal did a nose.
No, I think what
Yeah.
it was that he would do the impersonation. It was very funny. It was a spot on impersonation.
I remember.
And then people, some stars or whatever, some rock stars would appear on the Joe Franklin show laughing and saying, "Why? That you're just like Uncle Floyd,"
Oh,
And he didn't like that. And he called it like malicious parody or something like that.
Did they settle out of court? What was
They settled, but
well, he sued Drew Friedman too. Drew Friedman had drew some cartoons that he didn't like, but I think
Right.
That got thrown out for some reason. But
right.
but
I
yeah.
mean, the thing is, they're public characters. They're open for parody. So
Well, Drew Friedman had one strip that was very raunchy. Actually, my image is in it about the life of Joe Franklin. I won't even repeat some of the things that are in this strip. Very, very raunchy, very blue. But the one I think that bothered Joe was one called The Incredible Shrinking Joe Franklin. And for some reason, Joe was shrinking. He had that big head, and there were images of his, at some point, like at the top of his head at the desk, and he's still talking, tell us about Eddie Cantor, whatever. And then eventually there's a WOR boardroom with the suits, and you used to see the very top of Joe's head at the end of the thing. I'm sorry, Joe, but your ratings are as well shrinking. Whatever. They have to get rid of him because he's getting too tiny. And I think he didn't like being fired. In that strip from WOR. I think that's what pissed. The other one didn't piss him off, but that one did.
Right. I mean, Bob, you knew both Floyd and Joe Franklin.
Yes, very well. I met Floyd originally at the Bottom Line in that contest, and he was great. And then I guess somehow I went to at least 3 live shows. He did the last one I recall, I think, was in Tarrytown or Westchester at some Italian restaurant. That's Stuart Hirsch had booked him into.
San Martino's.
Right. And then the other one was a college, I think, in Long Island or Queens. He had a full stage show that he did. And then I think it was in Jersey, the theater in Jersey. I can't remember Old Time Theater in Jersey. I played there. He did like a burlesque show. That was another one. So at least 3 shows I recall. Oh, and he also did a movie theater in Jersey. He just did the piano stuff and the jokes and everything at a small movie theater in Jersey. So I guess I saw him 4 times. And then he would call me and I would call him about doing shows at the Actors Temple. I produced a comedy show and I hosted at the Actors Temple. And we never got it together, but he'd always would tell me, he'd be on the phone with me for 15, 20 minutes telling me Jewish jokes. Because he worked the Italian Catskills. What was that, the Poconos? He worked what he called the Italian Catskills.
No, it wasn't the Poconos. It was a different part of the Jewish Catskills. It was the Villa Roma, which was its own little area. There was Irish Catskills. There was
he told me. I even worked a very Gentile Catskills. I can't remember what it was. Very beautiful, but it was like the Swedish.
That's
me. It was the Swedish Catskills. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, that's not the area. Like I do the Borscht Belt Fest. That's a whole different area than the other one. But he would talk about that to me, and it was very funny because he said he was working 365 nights a year. And every conversation, he was supposedly rushing off to a gig, but he still had time to talk to me for 15, 20 minutes, maybe a half hour. It just bombarded me with, you heard this one? All Jewish jokes. I just had to let those Jewish jokes out, And I remember a lot of them, and those were wonderful. But I never spoke to his manager, who probably could figure things. We never got to do the show. It was just one of those things that would go on in this other world of. I remember having a very long conversation with him in the parking lot of that Italian restaurant on Westchester about Laurel and Hardy and the background music, and we were just standing in the parking lot for like maybe an hour discussing this. It was very funny.
Oh, it was great when he used to do the Bottom Line shows, which were amazing shows. They're actually astounding. And I think he held the record for having like the most sellout shows at the Bottom Line, and he definitely had the French fried record. He said that every show, all the French fries,
Wow.
just went. But he used to do the thing about the music on the Little Rascals, and Laurel and Hardy, where he would play da 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 da. Doesn't sound right. It should sound like just da da shh.
Right. Well, he did a whole set, and I think he did this. I'm trying to remember which venue, maybe all of them, where he just did TV commercial jingles. I mean, it was like 15 minutes of everything you remember. Get Drano, bum bum the Funzer, all that. Jolly Green Giant. He did all of them one after the other. For like
there's a video on YouTube where he just does that, and the audience just comes in.
Yeah, we all would sing along. Yeah.
Anyway, I want to get someone else talking here. Ghosty. Now, you actually worked alongside Floyd at WFDU, and I think you did some of the pledge days.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll back up a little bit. I mean, we're kind of reminiscing about Channel 68. So I was a kid watching the show. And I think it was on, I guess, around 7:00. That seems about right, on Channel 68. Right. And I used to watch it with my mother and my grandmother. And my grandmother loved it when Floyd played the piano and sang. That was her favorite part. I don't think she had any use for Looney Skip Rooney, but she enjoyed the piano playing. I liked it all, of course. And I was not living in New Jersey at the time. I was spending time with my father in Virginia. So I would take my tape recorder and hold it up to the TV and record the audio from the show onto a cassette, so that when I was in Virginia, which was out of the broadcast range of Channel 68, not surprising. I mean, half of New York was out of the broadcast range, but I would at least be able to listen to the show. So I lost track of it. I didn't realize that it had continued on other cable channels over the years up until around 1998. But when Floyd came with Scott Gordon to host Garage Sale Music on WFDU, he would occasionally be live. Most of the time it was pre-recorded, but he would occasionally be live. And during the fundraiser, he was always there. And I was answering phones for him. People were calling up and pledging, etc. and I would hand him, the notes, and he would read the names on the air. But my interactions with Floyd were kind of more limited to that. But he was, always gracious, always funny. He had a million jokes. I mean, I just couldn't believe he always had something funny to say, some pun, something. He's very generous to me. Very complimentary of my program, and he was also very humble. I mean, I think there have been efforts to put him in various types of halls of fame, and he never wanted anything like that. And it's interesting, though, somebody put up a post today on one of the groups. They were saying, is there anyone in New Jersey who doesn't have a photo with Uncle Floyd? Because he's that much of a fixture. And I was saying, I wrote a Facebook post about his passing, and I said, it's almost like a big part of New Jersey's identity was suddenly ripped away. I mean, one of the things you could count on in the state of New Jersey, you'd complain about the traffic, and you'd complain about the stench of this town or whatever, but you would always say, well, we've got some great things here. I mean, Sinatra was born in Hoboken. Uncle Floyd is, and now it's like, boy, now we don't have Uncle Floyd. What are we going to do now? Who are we? As New Jerseyans. But you had
Bruce.
said something. Yeah, that's true. You still got Springsteen, but I know that you had mentioned about people were surprised to read that he was 74 because he always seemed older. And I interviewed him years and years ago for about a good half hour about the show and the history of the show. And he had said that, people say to him that he lives in the past. And he said, no, the past lives in me. So that was kind of his philosophy.
Now, I remember once that during one of the pledge that I called in the station and you answered the phone and I said, Ghosty?
Yeah, I was pressed into service. Suddenly I was working for Floyd, answering calls.
But I was for a very brief time. I was actually a cast member on the show when it left syndication. Then it went for a short time, for about a summer, Avenel, New Jersey. They had a cable station there, Cablevision. And I went to the studios and I got involved in some of the bits. I actually wrote a couple of bits that I performed on that show. And then when he went to New Jersey Network, I followed along, but I wasn't as involved as before. But I did write a couple of bits that he used on the show. And one bit I did that was actually shown on Channel 68 was a Vinny and Vic bit. Vinny and Vic were two like work guys, and they would get like says, "I am talking to you. Who? You? Me? Yeah. Oh." And it was. You remember the Clooney Norton fight from the early '80s, where I think one of them knocked the other out in less than a minute,
Mm-hmm.
in less than 30 seconds. So I wrote a bit about that, in which Ed Norton fought against Art Rooney, which was Skip Rooney. And Vinny and Vic are watching on pay TV. Vinny couldn't afford no, it was, I don't know, I forget who was who in that bit, but Floyd's character couldn't afford to buy tickets for the actual fight, but Scott's character had cable TV and could watch it on pay TV. He said, "Come over to my house, you'll see it, but you got to pay for the pretzels, the beer, and all that." Says, "Okay, I'll do that." And then just as the fight is about to start, says, "Hey, go into the kitchen and get me a beer." Says, "Well, I want to see the fight." He said, and they had made a bet for $50 about who was going to win. And he says, it'll take you 2 seconds. Just get me the beer. So he goes out to the kitchen to get the beer, and then the fight starts, and then it's finished because the other one got knocked down. And he comes back, "What's going on?" He says, "Oh, the fight's over, and you owe me $50." That was the greatest fight I ever saw. I said, "Oh no, this is the greatest fight you ever saw." He starts beating him up. So, I still got that on tape. So, but no, it was so much fun. I had a great time when I was involved with the show. Again, I never did the live shows. I only was briefly as like a second, like a third area or whatever cast member. I was on the side somewhere. But if you see some of the syndicated shows, you might see me in one of the bits. Oh, anyway, let me get to Charles Rosenay up there, who's waiting with bated breath, because you got to, yes. Oh, change your useless terrain.
Get rid of that herring in your mouth. Yeah.
Yes,
Halitosis.
but you interviewed Floyd on the Monkeemania radio.
Oh, he's muted. Muted.
Oh, you're muted. You muted,
You're
sir.
muted. We can't hear you.
There we go.
Sorry,
You
it was a whole breath thing.
Oh, now we can hear you. Turn it off.
December 2021. I think it was right before or after he was a Chiller appearance where Stuart Hirsch brought him in to appear at Chiller.
I think it was after.
And he he was reluctant. He thought, who's going to come over and want my autograph at one of these shows? And Stuart's very, he's forward thinking. And Stuart was also, as you mentioned earlier, booking him into some of those venues, including whatever that place is in Yonkers. And he did really well at the convention and really enjoyed his time there. And it's, these celebrities or pseudo celebrities or whatever, if they're A level or B level or Z level, it's a real joy. I sell books at these shows, and I know what a pleasure it is when someone comes up and wants your autograph and buys something. It's a real thrill, and he really loved it. But because of his obviously Monkees connection and having Peter on and having Fred on and having Davey on and John Sheridan, Monkees musician, it made sense for me to interview him, and Stuart arranged that. And we had a great interview, A to Z, starting from, his years in burlesque and the family being so musical and all that, right up until through his show and through his special guests. He was very proud of having all the rock stars on and his connection with the Monkees. And Fred's name came up actually a lot in the interview. And he was a gentleman. I mean, here I was relatively a virgin to his show because I didn't watch it growing up, and I wasn't a guest like you guys. A lot of you were very familiar with it. When Saturday Night Live was over, I was watching the Apollo. I don't remember there being. I don't remember.
How dare you?
There being his show.
It wasn't a long stint, but it was.
But I felt very close to him, and I actually loved him from interviewing him. And some people said he wasn't that, that he could have been salty and he wasn't the friendliest guy in those type of scenarios. And I didn't see that at all. He was just so open and so loquacious and just so giving. And I thought we were gonna do like 20 minutes or a half hour. We did a full hour. We actually put it back on MMR. If anyone has Facebook and wants to go to MMR, which is Monkeemania Radio, you can hear the entire interview unedited, the audio of it. Usually I would do videos with the people I interviewed. I would run the audio on MMR, and I would keep the videos for posterity. But he said he wasn't technically adept enough to be able to do a video. So it was a Zoom radio interview, and it was just such a pleasure. It was like talking to someone from the old vaudeville days and the burlesque days, and it was like, how is this guy not 100 years old? He was 70, but an old soul, because that's what he grew up with, that's what his parents grew up with. And I think this panel here can relate to that, because none of us are 100 years old, but we all know the big bands, we all know Sinatra, we know Elvis and the Beatles, and straight on through, which a younger generation doesn't. So talking to him about the Catskills and the Italians and the Jewish and everything else, it's like just getting on the phone and talking to an old friend. And that was a real joy for me personally. It was a real highlight of of the interviews that I did with people who are peripheral Monkee people. And Fred, I think it was big. You had so much to do with him having Monkees on the show, and thank you so much for that. Thank you for taking the helm here. I know Ed brought us all together, and he deserves the credit for making the show happen. But Fred, thank you for taking the reins and flying with it.
Well, thank you. And I just want to clarify something. It was David Byrd that helped to get Peter Tork on the Floyd Show, and David was the one who invited me to come to the studio when Peter made his second appearance in 1980. But Charles, the wonderful Maggie McManus
Yes.
of the Monkey Business fanzine.
Yep.
She found out in 1984 that Davy Jones was coming to the United States to do some business,
Right.
and she wanted to get him booked on some shows. So she got him on the Today Show. In the interview segment, she got her on the Regis Show, and then she asked me, "Is there any other shows?" Like, "Is it Uncle Floyd? I know Uncle Floyd." So I called David Byrd and told him the details, and it was all arranged from there. So I would say that I was in part responsible for Davey showing up on the Uncle Floyd show,
That's right.
and our mutual friend John Sheridan, who was a wonderful musician, and at the time he was a Michael Nesmith lookalike, and did Nesmith songs.
Yes.
He came to the show and I said, "Well, I'm trying to get you on somehow." And Floyd and Davey, when they got together, were thinking about doing like an old vaudeville song or something, a low music hall song. And I suggested, well, why don't we got John here. Why don't you do like a monkey song? So I said, okay. And John knew the chords to a little bit me, a little bit you. And they rehearsed it quickly. And then Floyd did the interview with Davey. And then they went right into a little bit me, a little bit you with John accompanying Davey. So and it worked out very well. I think Jeff Friedman was mad at me later. Said, "Now we got to work out the licensing on that Neil Diamond song." But I think, yeah. But he said, "Oh, it's fine." They worked it out, and
Clips from that. So is that video part of the marathon they're showing? Is there a way to see the whole show?
I can't say for certain, but I think Ghosty knows about the Stage It shows, and some of you guys do. Stage It is a performing platform that you watch online, and you buy a virtual ticket to see a particular performer on these shows. And Floyd had been doing a Stage It show for the last few years up to the time he had the stroke. He actually had the stroke during one of the shows. You didn't see him when he had it, but he said he wasn't feeling well. At the end of the show, Scott came on and said, "Floyd's not feeling well. He had to leave early, but I'll finish the show for you guys." But Floyd was there when Scott said that. And that's, he went to the hospital that night and everything. But anyway, the Stage It shows are not very expensive. They're like $5.20.
Right.
And you could get a virtual ticket if you go on the Stage It website. I think it's stageit.com.
Yes.
And it's going to be a show this Tuesday, a tribute show to Uncle Floyd at 8 p.m. Now, these shows are not archived. They only run once. It's shown live once, and that's it. So, and Scott is putting together a tribute show to Floyd for this Tuesday, which I think is what, the 27th?
Yeah.
Yep, 27th.
So if you guys want to, tickets might be selling out for all I know. Go on stageit.com, look up Uncle Floyd Show, and get your ticket now while you can, because I don't know when this is going to air, Ed, but if you have it, Ed, if you have it by tomorrow, that'd be nice. But
Brad, I'm gonna get this thing together tonight, and then send out links on it either later tonight or tomorrow morning.
now, whether Scott is going to continue the Tuesday night Uncle Floyd shows, that's totally up to him. But this Tuesday is going to be the January the 27th is going to be a tribute to Floyd. So I highly recommend, if you haven't got a ticket now, get it while you can.
I already got.
You got
I got
one
my-
already. That's right, Bucky.
Yep.
Okay, let's hear from Bucky, a fan right there.
Oh, right here. Yes, I became a fan probably the early '80s. It was we were in Buffalo, New York. We were getting the Boston channel WSBK on our cable feed, and I was watching a Bruins Sabres game. And after the game ended, it was like 11 o'clock. I believe it came on Uncle Floyd Show, and I never seen it, had no idea. But David Johansen, one of my favorite musicians, He played Funky but Chic on there, and I was just blown away by the whole show. I loved comedy. I loved Saturday Night Live, second SCTV. I loved back in the day. I used to watch Hilarious House of Frightenstein, which was
Yeah.
today. And this just fit in perfect with with that kind of humor. And my mom loved it too because she grew up in the big band era. So with Uncle Floyd playing his piano and that, she loved it. So we'd watch that every night afterwards. But yeah, it was David Johansen on there that drew me to the show once I found out he was on there. And the rest of it, we only had it for like a few months before we lost the WSBK station. But a few years later, I found the Uncle Floyd album in a record store, and wow, it was great.
There it is.
There it is.
That's it right there.
There it
Right
is.
there, yeah.
Ooh.
And I played that, wore that out pretty good. It's pretty beat up now, but love it.
hmm let's hear from Mark Arnold, who I can't see on my screen, but he's there somewhere.
I'm here.
He's right there.
Because
It's funny, like Bob's pointing down, but I'm up on my TV or whatever. It's
Oh,
like,
actually, you're over
it's all-
there. You're over there
I'm right
now.
here.
Mark,
I'm
well,
right
Mark with
here.
his
Anyway,
partner Michael Ventrella wrote a couple of monkey books. On the first
yeah.
one, they mentioned, well, actually, the second one, they mentioned Peter Tork on the Uncle Floyd show.
Yeah, because the second book was about the solo appearances, and so yes. Now, you said earlier today, well, he's from Philadelphia or Pittsburgh or wherever he's from, somewhere in Pennsylvania. So he never saw Uncle Floyd. As much of the nation didn't see Uncle Floyd, so it is a very, very New York, New Jersey thing. However, me as a Californian at the time, I'm an Oregonian now, saw it. And the reason why I saw it is because there's a brief period in 1981, 82 that Floyd decided to expand out, thought his show was funny enough, doing well enough, somebody convinced him, I don't know the story, to syndicate the show. So it was syndicated in a few markets around the country. Now, where my dad lived, I was living in Saratoga, California. My dad still lives there. It's in the hills. So in the days of antenna TV, he had this rotating antenna, and he was high enough that I don't know if you know the layout of California, but Saratoga is near San Jose. Obviously, you get San Jose stations, you get San Francisco stations, but way out, you get the Sacramento stations, which most people didn't get. Um, I was a lover of like Bucky comedy, and I especially had this fondness for cheap looking comedy. Like I adore the early episodes of SCTV, the early episodes of SNL, the early episodes of Monty Python, because it looked like they did it with the budget of a dime. And but they were so funny, it's like it didn't matter, they didn't have any props or anything. And so I also was a fan of UHF TV. So, with the antenna, you'd shift around every few months and, hey, there's a new station. So there's a station called Channel 31 in Sacramento. It was a Mexican station or something, a Spanish speaking station. And so we just ignored it. But somewhere along the line, we were zipping around and it was like, I don't know if it was like old Jackie Gleason or some old show. And so I go, hey, look, they're showing something else that's not Spanish speaking. And so we found out that they had changed ownerships as KRBK, Channel 31. And they promoted Uncle Floyd show. And if memory serves, because this is 45 years ago, I believe it aired twice a night. And so it aired like around 5 or 6 at night or something, supposedly for the kiddie crowd. And then they aired it again like at 11. I was so enamored with it, I stayed up every night to watch it repeated. And then I think they did multiple shows on the weekends or something. And it was, I don't know. I saw Peter Tork on the show, so I think what they did and on the syndicated show is they didn't take like if a show aired on whatever day of the week, it wasn't the one that they put in syndication. They just probably went through the best of the last 2 or 3 years and said, this one's pretty good. Let's put that one out as the syndicated one. So, because I remember seeing Peter Tork on the show. I'm not sure if I saw Davey on the show.
Davey was only on New Jersey Network.
Okay, so then I wouldn't have seen that because I know these were only Channel 68 shows because Floyd would always talk about Channel 68, talk about how nobody could get the reception or anything. And even I had to adjust we had a electric rotator, but I mean still it wasn't rabbit ears, it was a roof rotator. But we'd have to kind of knock it a couple notches to get it to come in sometimes, especially if it was bad weather or something. But anyway, I was hooked, and so for as ever long it was on. Strangely enough, we did videotape a few of them, but I think we erased them over the years or something like
Oh,
that, and because we weren't thinking that this stuff wasn't being kept for posterity. I didn't know about TV history or anything. I thought every networks and archivists were commonplace back then, not so much, you know. So I wish I kind of kept this stuff. But anyway, I did get the record album when it came out. I thought Floyd was on his way up to being like a major celebrity. He even appeared in an issue of Mad Magazine. Mort Drucker drew him into a parody, and I even posted that on the Mad Mumblings page on Facebook that he appeared in Mad 232 if you need the exact number. And years later, he put out some videotapes, and then they reissued it as a DVD, which I do have here. I have the album somewhere, and I have a single from that album somewhere. It's on Mercury Records, which is a pretty major label. So I thought, hey, Floyd's gonna be doing something, and he never quite did it. But it seems to me, correct me if I'm wrong, I think Floyd appeared a couple times, like on the Jerry Lewis telethon and stuff like that. So he got
yeah, I
a
think he
little
may have. I
a
think
little
so.
bit of national exposure that way. So I think Jerry Lewis knew who he was and had him on there and stuff like that.
Mm.
Yeah,
Usually he
probably
just played the piano.
local
What?
appearance. Probably
Okay.
local because they would always have a
Yeah,
New
it probably was the
Jersey.
cutaway. Yeah, but it showed him playing the piano. So it never talked about his comedy. It just talked about, so there's this guy with a goofy hat and a goofy coat playing the piano, like Chico, or something. But, I knew who he was, and I was like, come on, stand up and do some comedy, bring out Oogie and all this stuff. But no, he just said, blip, 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 blip. So anyway, that's my exposure to Floyd, and I've always had a fondness for him. I'd like to see more shows. I see that there's quite a bit of stuff on YouTube, so I'm going to start researching it again. You know,
Well, to
and
me, it's
I'm Facebook friends with like all the guys, Looney, Skip, Rooney, and Charlie Stoddard, and Scott Gordon and Neto and Muggsy and whatever. It's like,
well, Muggsy passed
no,
away.
not Muggsy. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, but Neto, yeah, I get those
yeah.
two mixed up anyway.
And I was going to say that YouTube channel is, what is it? Uncle Floyd Shows, I think is the
Yes,
name
Yeah,
of it. And
yes.
there is a lot of stuff on there. I mean, I was just watching it the other night and having a great time. I mean, there's hours and hours of it. I mean, smaller clips, not entire shows, but
yeah.
some good stuff.
Well,
Um,
there's a museum in the city for television history.
It's
I'm
called the Paley. It's called the Paley Center. It used to be called the
that
Museum of Radio and Television, but now
okay.
it's the Paley Center. Yeah.
so as Mark indicated, as far as archiving, I'd have to go over there. Haven't been in there in about 20 years, but I'd like to maybe do a little research in it to see if they have anything for Uncle Floyd.
I don't know if they do or not. I used to
Yeah.
visit. I didn't remember seeing Uncle Floyd. Maybe they have got some. Who knows? They might have changed.
They might have
Um,
the NBC stuff. They might have that. They might have.
right.
Or if he
Seems
Um,
guessed
like
it on a, or if he guessed it on a show,
yeah.
telephone.
Mark.
seems like Scott Gordon has the biggest collection.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I have a whole bunch of tapes myself that I taped at the time, and I need to digitize them. Definitely. I
Okay.
have few things digitized, including my appearances on the show. So,
Yeah.
You could also donate them to the Paley Center, and they'll take care of it. Hopefully.
well, that's a thought. Um,
Yeah.
Mark had mentioned that there was a Spanish UHF station that showed the Uncle Floyd show. Floyd said that some of his biggest fans were from this, like Spanish, because the same reason that they would change the channels looking for something, and they thought it was another Spanish show but in English. And one of big Floyd used to go get sponsors, sell ad time for the shows, and one of the ads he would sell for was Malta Schaefer, and he actually got in trouble for that. He said, "Oh, you're selling beer to the kids? It's not beer, it's malt. It's a malt drink, that." But that was funny, and He also mentioned Monty Python. Now, Graham Chapman and Terry Gilliam made an appearance on the syndicated
Oh
uh,
wow.
Uncle Floyd show, and it was a very funny appearance. And Scott tells the story that he was talking with Graham and Terry, and they used to talk about how they used to film so many episodes of Monty Python. I said, well, we did like maybe about 5 seasons or something like that. How many do you guys do? So, oh, we do about 300 shows a year. It's just, what? And how long you been doing this? Oh, we've been doing it like almost 20, almost 15 years at the time, you
Yeah.
know?
Wow.
And they couldn't believe it. It says, we only did like 15 shows for a season, and you guys did like 300 in 1 year, and you're still doing them? You know, it blew their mind, you know?
No script.
And no script. Exactly. I was there. I could tell you, no script.
I have a question. I have a question. I've always
Yeah.
wanted to know this.
Mhm.
And I don't want to ask Skip Rooney himself because he might
Okay.
lie. Did Fred, I mean, did not Fred, sheer Fred. Uh did Floyd and Skip get along off camera?
From what I could tell, they all got along well.
Okay.
I
Because
mean,
it seems like even the couple years that I was watching the show, they might have had a rift briefly, at least during that time, where Skip was kind of off the show because he's getting a little too obnoxious, and so he barred him from the show. Is there any truth to that? Because I kind of sense that
not
at
that
the
I'm
time.
aware of.
Okay. And maybe it was just for laughs or for a joke or,
Well,
whatever, but I didn't get it as being like 13, 14 years old. I was like, oh my God, Looney Skip Rooney's the
I,
funniest guy on this show,
well, you
and
know
Mark,
they're
it
kicking
is.
him off.
but I remember, Mark, that sometimes Looney would go. It looked like Looney was going beyond the material. Like, let's say he
Yeah.
was supposed to do a chunk, as we say in the stand-up field, about something, but then he was adding something else, and you could hear Floyd say, "Okay, all right," and he wouldn't. And then they cut. Then it appeared that momentarily,
Yeah.
Floyd was a little pissed. It was actually kind of funny. You know what
It
I mean?
was, but
And it looked like he was pissed, and then they would cut back to Looney, and Looney looked like he was pissed that Floyd was pissed. You know what I mean? But it made
uh,
it made for such great television. So,
yeah.
but I
Right.
think there was a little agita or one-upmanship of two funsters, and Floyd was the star, so
Yeah.
Right. Well, the thing is every summer Skip would take a couple of weeks off to visit his family in Florida. So that's why sometimes you didn't see him on the show.
Okay.
And Floyd worked that into the show, in which he would have the camera crew come out in Skip Rooney's outfit and do a Skip Rooney bit.
Well, it
You
seemed to
know?
me like they acted, maybe it was just the 1 year they acted like they fired him versus they was on
Maybe
vacation. And it might have been a total fake out or whatever, just to get viewers like, oh, bring him back, bring him back. But it's like,
there was
Well,
there was probably a little undercurrent, but Mark,
yeah,
just to fall back on what you were talking about, there was a point where Floyd was doing other things, like he
yeah,
did a Law and Order, where he found the body. He's a moving guy. He did, of course, Good Morning Vietnam. All of
yeah,
those were done sans the Floyd character. It was just Floyd Vivino, not Uncle
right,
Floyd. But I think he couldn't go to that, whatever reason, he couldn't go to that next level with his representation, or he wasn't that into it. You know what I mean? He really liked going in his car, schlepping his stuff, going to an Italian restaurant, sitting. I saw him sitting by the toilet. He was performing by the toilet. People were going to the toilet
performing in
during
the
his set.
toilet. No.
It did. I mean, talk about I play the toilet, as we say in the business. He was almost in the toilet, and I was impressed that he didn't like it didn't affect him. It was like, fine, it's a gig,
Yeah.
and I was very impressed by that.
I guess he was just comfortable at that level, because I always thought he would be bit, like I said, be bigger.
Well,
But
he was
if
in
he,
control. I can tell you when I saw him, I know somebody wanted me to do some time before him, and he didn't. He had nothing against me. He loved me, But I just come out and I do like he had a whole thing, I just come out and I played, and he had a whole thing. He wasn't going to have anybody else do anything before him, you know what I'm saying? So
right,
I'm not saying he's a control freak, but like any entertainer who does a particular performance, whatever, he had something locked in, and he came to do that. He wasn't going to deviate from it, and I understand that.
I just want to interject here because we were talking about Skip Rooney that
Mhm.
there has been a podcast that Scott has done with Floyd while Floyd
Yes.
was recuperating from his stroke for a long time now. They're very short podcasts. They're maybe 10 minutes or so, but sometimes Skip would be interviewed for that. So they're worth seeking out. Again, they're not really long. I think it was, is Floyd up to doing this? He had a hard road after that stroke, and if he could only do 10 minutes, then we'll do 10 minutes. But it was Floyd's decision to do the podcast. He wanted to keep performing as best he could.
Right.
Right. Floyd was a working performer. He lived to perform. And after the stroke, the podcast was alternate ways. Well, I can't do the radio show. I can't go live. This is probably the best mode right now. And the podcast you could find out on like all the streaming platforms like iTunes and Amazon, and Podbean is
Yeah.
the main one. But you could tell from the most recent podcast how weak Floyd's voice was.
Oh,
And it was sad, but it was nice hearing him. And he did have people like cast members like Weenie uh, and Skip Rooney and Neto and David Byrd on the show. Now, I don't know if Scott's going to continue the podcast. I would like for him to, but it's his choice.
Right.
So, anyway, did we hear from you, Daniel Coston?
No, we haven't. But I will
Yes.
add to that. At first, once a vaudevillian, always a vaudevillian. I mean, he was, yes, exactly. He was a performer through and through. And, the thing that there's that joke about wanting to die on stage, but, you want to go out the way you lived, which is performing and being, and I think Uncle Floyd always wanted to be Uncle Floyd. And that's admirable. And again, it harkens back to an era that sadly is drifting further and further from us every day. So, but thankfully the work remains, and his music and what he created remains. Even though I lived in upstate New York in the early '80s, they didn't have Uncle Floyd in Syracuse. Believe it or not, there was a show that Nickelodeon aired. I had to move to North Carolina to get cable. True story. And Nickelodeon had a show called Turkey TV, and they would run clips of the Uncle Floyd show.
Oh yes, yes, I remember Turkey TV. Yes,
and I would be I'm one of those kids who go, "What's that? Okay, wait, bring that back. What was that?" And I would search out Uncle Floyd tapes based on these clips that I would see on Turkey TV. I think that's the first time I ever saw the Ramones. It was either that or Sha Na Na. They did Sha Na Na, true story. And so it was like I searched all this stuff out. I was searching out Uncle Floyd the same way I was searching out Buster Keaton and the Marx Brothers and Clark and McCullough and all these kind of really obscure to me, or obscure to too many people, comedians and performers. And that we're I will say too that I hope you guys do keep all your collections, give them to universities. All my collections are in three universities, none of which I attended. So God bless. True story. But it's about these things that we love, and then sharing them and not passing them on, but like making sure they're there for the next kid. They're there for the next fan who stumbles over this one night and goes, wait, what's that? I want more of this. So I take heart that Uncle Floyd, even though I never got to meet him, lives on through his work, and I think he really did exist in the work. So and I'll say too that even though again I didn't see Uncle Floyd when I was a kid in New York, watching these shows now on YouTube take me back to that time of my life where it's a very different world back then, but as a kid, you were open to all these ideas. You discover Laurel and Hardy, you discover the Stooges, and all these things that just make you laugh. And in a world where we need to laugh more and more, these are important. So, I hope somebody sees this podcast and he goes out and watches a bunch of Uncle Floyd shows or discovers the podcast. And I'm probably going to listen to the podcast tonight after this show, after I'm done sledding here. So thank you. This is much of the country right now as we're taping this. So I'm in North Carolina, so we're waiting for the next round of ice. So yeehaw.
I'm in Pennsylvania.
Buffalo.
Daniel, I performed at the Flat Rock Playhouse.
Yes,
I did a couple of shows there, and I never imagined snow there, to tell you the truth. I remember humidity. I don't remember snow. Yeah.
It was a big change from going from upstate New York to Charlotte, North Carolina, especially in the 1980s. So
Charlotte. Oh yeah, I visited Charlotte. Yes.
Yeah. And so you were actually right by the Sandberg house.
That's right.
Yep.
I took the walk. and everything.
Mm-hmm. My photography. I'm a photographer as well. Some folks will know that Edward Steichen's brother-in-law was actually Edward Steichen was Carl Sandburg's brother-in-law. So, and Steichen did a lot of work on the photography at the Sandberg house. So if you're in North Carolina, come down to the Sandberg house and watch where Uncle Ed took all those pictures. So, but again, it's going on the road and however you find this stuff, go find this stuff.
Right.
Cool. Let me interject here a second. Firstly, regards to Nickelodeon, thank you for mentioning, Daniel, about Nickelodeon, which was tremendous back in the day. I mean, in its first infancy, Nickelodeon, Nick at Night, they had some incredible stuff that was interwoven into the reruns and the kiddie shows. So yeah, I think I'd like to do something on the people that were involved with Nickelodeon back in those days, because there was some really creative stuff going on there.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm so happy he mentioned Turkey Television. I hadn't thought of that in years, and I did some stuff on America's Funniest People or some show similar to that, and they would use my clips on there, and I'd find out, oh, you were on Turkey Television. I would get some check for like 3 cents or something like that. But Daniel, I want to just mention this one story, and this is something I think Floyd would have appreciated. I was doing a play there with Running in the Red, and there was the theater was a barn, and occasionally they would have a bat. A bat was flying. One night we're performing the farce comedy, but the audience isn't reacting right or whatever. And what it was, the stage manager, there's a bat in the house. So some people were concerned about the bat. And at some point, the bat went in front of the light, and this big shadow, like on Batman, came up with the thing. The phone rang in the scene, and I said, "Quick, pick it up. That's the bat phone." Such a big laugh. Of course, you're not supposed to do that in a play, but I think Floyd would have really appreciated it. Was like a real Floyd Vizino moment. The whole place cracked up. The actors are standing there laughing. We all took a breath and then continued the show. And the stage manager says, "You're not supposed to do that, Bob." I said, "I know."
I did it for Floyd. The joys of life. It's like doing the things that we know we're not supposed to do, but we kind of want to do anyway. So
that's right. I think Floyd would have done that. Yeah.
Floyd used to tell so many stories. I just recently heard this interview with him about the time that they were doing the show at the old Channel 68 studios where I saw Peter Tork. And while they were doing the show, some repo men came to get the piano. Because they had orders to get a piano from a house, but it was the wrong address. And they went, and because the studios was in a house, they started to try to take the piano and play, wait a minute. And they taped the whole thing, until they got it all corrected and everything. And the guys were embarrassed and they apologized. But just the whole bit that they were trying to get this piano while the show was being filmed,
Great television.
Laurel and Hardy.
I was just going to say my phone is going to die shortly, but I wanted to throw out a topic before I sign off here. And thanks for having me on, Ed. I appreciate it. There were other shows. Obviously, we talked about Uncle Floyd being influenced by Soupy Sales and whatnot, but you had shows after Floyd, like Beyond Vaudeville, who openly say that the Uncle Floyd show was a big influence, and that later became Oddville, I think, on MTV. And then also there were elements of the Uncle Floyd show I'm pretty sure in the Pee Wee Herman, Pee Wee's Playhouse, that
Oh,
sort
I
of
can tell
thing.
you a
Oh,
whole lot
yeah.
of things
Yes,
about.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So yeah, so I will, as they say in the radio world, listen off air. But thanks everybody,
Thank you,
Ghosty.
Ghosty.
and
Thank
Thank you
you,
for
I'm going to
coming.
go
We
Ghosty.
appreciate it.
recharge.
Ghosty,
Fred
really.
Talk to
had
you soon.
Fred had
Oh,
left me some pictures and a video. Would you like me to play them, Fred?
well, just a moment. I just want to mention that Ghosty is on WFDU with the vintage rock and pop shop, and he also has the podcast We Say Yeah, dedicated to Cliff Richard, the great rock star in England, and
Yep.
it's a great podcast. I've been on it several
That's
times,
right, Fred
and
has.
Ghosty has interviewed me on his vintage rock and roll show on the Monkees and stuff, and we did a nice tribute to Michael Nesmith after Mike Nesmith died. So I appreciate. So thank you for your
Yeah,
time on that, Ghosty, and I'm
yeah,
looking forward to doing another We Say Yeah podcast and anything else you want to do.
yeah. We'll do it this year.
Thanks for coming
Definitely.
on, Ghost. Appreciate it.
Take care. Okay,
Nice meeting you.
and now I see Mark.
Oh,
I was going to mention that uh, people like David Bowie loved Uncle Floyd, and he wrote this great song, Slip Away, which you could find on the Heathen album. And also, it might be on the Toy box set. I'm not
It is.
sure.
It is. Yeah.
Okay. And Floyd asked, I was at the Bottom Line the night that David Bowie came to the show. And I posted a picture of Bowie at the Uncle Floyd show online on Facebook, and Floyd had asked Bowie how he found out about the show. So I used to go to John Lennon's house at the Dakota and watch it there. And like I said, John was interested in appearing on the show, and sadly, it never happened. But he said, "But why do you like me, David?" You know, he said, "Why do you like me?" He says, "Because you're like the old time performers. Because you're the only one I know that still goes out in a costume with the hat, with the jacket, and all that kind of stuff. And you do a character, and you're the only one that I know of that still does that. You know, I do the whatever I do. The lipstick or hair or whatever. But you go out all the time in that outfit. So that was one of the reasons um, that David Bowie loved Floyd. So definitely, and if you go on YouTube, you'll see some of the live performances that David Bowie did of the song, and he explains as best he can to people who never seen the show all about Uncle Floyd. Anyway, can I just show some brief Uncle Floyd memorabilia?
Sure.
Okay,
Sounds good.
sure. Well, we mentioned the DVD of the Uncle Floyd show here, and I got
Ooh.
a bunch of them from some from the New Jersey Network and other things. The Ramones Raw, which has
Got to
clips
find
of
that
the
one.
Ramones on the Uncle Floyd show. Dr. Demento's Covered
Oh
in
yeah.
Punk, which
yes, yes,
has some songs of Uncle Floyd in there, including
yes.
Shaving Cream.
Shaving
So
cream, yes.
is in
Cool.
there.
Clean.
An order from there with the shaving cream with the
Floyd did a signing. He did a signing downtown. I was at the
Right.
signing of
And
that.
the funny thing is that this DVD, CD, excuse me, was got a Grammy nomination, I guess, for best compilation. It didn't win, but Floyd is on a Grammy nominated
Wow.
album CD. Um, you mentioned the Uncle Floyd singles leading up to the album. Here's a CD of all the singles that Scott Gordon put together. So
Wow.
all the singles are on there.
Wow.
Hmm.
Yeah. And Floyd put out a separate music CD, all these great songs like Dominic the Donkey and Deep in the Heart of Jersey, Freckles, that Shaving Cream is on here. So it you might find these on eBay, maybe not. I don't know. You could look, but I can't say. And then we mentioned the Uncle Floyd album right here, by Mercury Records. Now, Floyd said in the interview that he said to the Mercury people that just tape us at the Bottom Line People will buy that. I said, no, 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 we want to do just regular songs and stuff and all that. And they missed an opportunity.
Yeah,
It
I
could have
kind of
been,
wish it was a live album too,
yeah,
honestly.
Yeah.
it could have been Uncle Floyd live at the bottom line.
Yeah.
So, but
Mm.
on top of that, I have these. I have the test pressing of the album.
Oh,
I found this at Sounds in the Village in New York City,
Wow.
and Floyd autographed it for me.
Yay.
And this is what he wrote to Fred: "Next time, buy the album. It costs more, but what? It costs more, but what the heck?" And then this, I also found at Sounds a promo single of Robin Williams and Uncle Floyd, which is ironic since they worked together. And one
I've
is
never seen that. Wow.
this is from Robin Williams' "Throbbing Python of Love." It's him doing Elmer Fudd sings Springsteen.
Oh yeah.
which I first
And
see,
then,
which I first saw on Turkey TV. So
yeah,
there
there
you
you go. And then from the Uncle Floyd album "On the Boardwalk," which was the parody of Bruce Springsteen. So and I got a whole bunch of tapes. Oh, one more thing. One more thing.
just
I
one.
got
Oh,
original
your
Uncle
shirts.
Floyd, original Uncle Floyd t-shirts. This is an original.
Yay.
oh, that's beautiful.
These were sold at personal appearances. And let me show this other one. This was one of Uncle Floyd's characters, General Delivery. He used to have the battles with Wonderama and Star Trek when they used to be on opposite each other. So they always have to have war between them. For Muggsy fans, and Bucky's wearing the shirt, Snap It Pal, Bones Boy.
Wow.
And right here, David Bird will like this. I have
Uh-oh.
this Walking Out, Artie Delmore character.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh. And this one, everybody will love. You love Neto? Here he is, Neto.
Neto.
Oh.
And here's probably the rarest thing here. Well, all of them are rare,
Yeah.
but the Uncle Floyd sweatshirt.
Wow.
That looks more well done than not rare.
That's
Right.
great stuff.
Well, it's
Well
medium.
worn. Well worn, at least.
Well worn, yeah.
And I can't, well, not well worn by me anymore, unfortunately. I can't.
Aw.
Hey, Fred,
This-
do you know the guy who has oogies? He has what's his name? He goes to Jersey shows. He has like a sort of a patent on a oogie knockoff. You know that guy? I got a
No, I don't.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I don't.
Yeah, he was friends with Floyd, but you know him?
Yeah.
No.
Do you know him, Mark?
No,
Oh, okay.
but I have a question for you about Oogie.
Yes.
What is that character's origin? Did Floyd construct him, or did he find him at a shop, or
No.
what happened?
No, it was part of a series of puppets that had similar features. And they would be dressed up in different things like Oogie. Oogie's was the hunter, so you notice the hat looks like a
Right.
hunter's hat.
Okay.
So Oogie was originally called the Hunter, and Floyd named him Oogie, and he became a permanent fixture of the Uncle Floyd Show. Must be much beloved. Sadly, Oogie's voice is silent as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's like when Mel Blanc died. You know, they had the ad of all the Warner Brothers characters, and it said speechless. You know, so that's sadly what
Well,
it is now.
I'll connect you with this guy. It was kind of like authorized by Floyd, but it's more of a knockoff. But it looks like it is Oogie. You know what I'm saying? But for some
Mhm.
reason he authorized it, but I guess he either didn't have the rights or he didn't want to completely give the rights to it. And he appears in comedy shows with it. You know, and he talks about Uncle Floyd.
Well, Floyd never had the rights. He bought the puppet, but he never had the actual rights to
So
Oogie.
that's the issue then, right? So he couldn't. He endorsed it.
I don't think that company exists anymore.
Yeah.
So
He could
maybe.
probably get away with it calling
Penhelm
it Oogie.
puppets. Penhelm puppets, possibly. I think it was called.
Yeah, for whatever reason, although Floyd endorsed it or didn't have any problems with it, he couldn't like sign it off. You know what I mean? He could sign
Right,
on
because
to it.
he never owned the original character.
That's what he
had
said. Yeah,
he owned the
Yeah.
puppet, but he didn't
Yeah.
own the character.
But I'll hook you up with this guy. You should talk to him.
Okay, he's gonna hook me up, kids.
Well, I know another puppet he used to use
Yeah.
is the Hugo, the Man of the Thousand Faces.
Yes,
You know, and he always had it dancing around in different sequences and stuff like that.
that was
I-
Muggsy.
Yeah.
That was Muggsy. And the thing is, when Muggsy died, I went to the funeral, and and one of the things that was displayed as honor of Muggsy was Hugo all by
Mm,
himself.
mm.
Hmm.
Which that made me cry a little bit when I saw that. But anyway, Ed, you said you have some of the pictures I sent you.
Here we go. Let me get that together for you.
Uh-huh. We could talk among ourselves.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
see
Ed
Okay.
anything.
Rising.
So
Oh,
Fred,
yes.
can you just give us some commentary here?
Okay, that's me and Uncle Floyd. Bob, you might know this club. It's on 31st Street off Park Avenue.
Oh, yes, the cutting room.
That's it, the cutting room.
Mhm.
Floyd did a show there. Unfortunately, it wasn't a big audience,
Aw.
but I went to see him with Linda, and we had a great time. Oh,
Yeah.
there's Clark the Wonder Dog.
Yes.
Uh,
Mhm.
Oh, there, you got to go on YouTube. There's a great thing, Skip's Auto Sales, in which uh, Clark the Wonder Dog inadvertently gets involved in the bit in a big way. You've got to see it.
I think
Wow.
It's
remember that one. That one did get into syndication.
yes, yes. And there's the Ramones
There they are.
Yes, the Ramones. Yeah.
on the Ramones
Wow, he's tall.
on Peter Tork.
Peter.
This is Peter's first appearance on the Uncle Floyd show. I saw him. I went to the show for his second appearance. Okay.
Fred, let me ask you, when I gather this is an older picture, so that's why it's a little out of focus. But
Well,
it
it's
kind of
taken right off.
reminds.
It's zoomed out. It's a zoomed out picture. It's like a bad
Well,
Xerox.
it's also taken right off the TV screen.
Yeah.
It is.
Oh,
There's the
but it
grid.
kind of reminds me of the Stranger Things Have Happened album
Well,
cover.
yeah, actually, I
Yeah.
did digitize that that video, and I made a screen snap of it. So it's sharper than it would be if I took it off the TV screen.
Nice job.
And there's another one from the same show. And that's from the second appearance, and that's me and Peter in front
Yeah.
of the
Wow.
Uncle Floyd studios.
What year was that?
The same year, 1980.
80, right. That's probably when he was cutting his own hair.
Possibly. And there's from
Well, that looks like he cut his own hair.
that's from the syndicated show
Wow.
with the syndicated set, which was also used in New Jersey Network.
Wow.
That's the punk era.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That's again from the second appearance,
Who's
and that's me.
the skinny guy on the left?
I have no idea, but that's me with a monkey's hand puppet.
Oh.
Oh,
And
yeah, with the 5 monkeys or 4 monkeys, whatever.
Yeah, the
Five-finger
the four-headed monkey.
Yeah,
and
there we go.
Peter was very bemused, but
I remember that puppet. I remember that puppet.
I still have it. And I was nervous as anything, as you can imagine, because I'm there with two of my favorite performers right there.
Wow.
On
You
TV.
know? And that's Peter in front of the Uncle Floyd Studios again.
That's great.
And that's from the first appearance right there.
Hmm.
And that's with Scott and Neto in front of the studio.
Wow.
Great pictures.
And
These are
that's
great.
Really?
that's Floyd and Peter in the parking lot. And the pictures from the second appearance were taken by my friend Derek Tague, who was a huge Uncle Floyd fan too. Sadly, he passed away last year from diabetes. Okay, this is
There's
from
Fred.
New Jersey Network, Davy Jones, when he was there in 1984, 2 years before the Monkees reunion tour.
Is that
And
Rick Moranis with him? Is that Rick Moranis?
No, that's me.
I know.
With hair. Oh dear.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. All right.
And there's with
Yay.
Graham Chapman and Terry Gilliam. I told you the story already about what Scott told them that shot them.
Wow.
And that's me and Floyd at the bottom line. This had to have been like around 1979, 1980.
Wow.
And that's when Floyd made an appearance in Nutley, New Jersey some years ago. And he had a raffle or something going on in which the winner got Uncle Floyd DVDs, and I'm the winner. And I got them.
Yeah.
I got one of them signed by Floyd. and that's with Linda. That's from another appearance at a Italian restaurant.
Well, I think I was
That's
there because he had the merch outside. He sold merch. No.
I don't know. This was in Nutley, New Jersey. Were you there?
Oh no, I think I was at the one I was at was the Stuart Hirsch. So it was a Westchester game. Yeah.
Right, and it was shortly after me and Linda got married, I think.
Mhm.
So, and
Yeah.
Soupy Sales,
Soapy.
Soupy Sales. There you go. This,
Yeah.
I think, must have been, maybe you were at this thing, Bob. I don't know.
Was it? Is this the bottom line? No, no,
This
no.
could have been the bottom line.
Was it was Larry Storch on this show?
I
Is
don't
that
know.
all right?
Might have
Yeah,
been.
this
I
is an
can't.
old, but this is an oldie. I'm looking at Soupy, and he had health problems, as you know.
Yeah, yeah.
So this is more of a healthy one. So
I,
a while back.
here's Peter Tork with Floyd doing
Beautiful.
Pasquale.
Pasquale.
Yeah, and
Rudy
he's wearing,
Skipper.
and was wearing
Hey, snap it,
and
pal. And the Netto shirt.
yeah, the Netto shirt. There you go.
That's
In
great.
front, this 1980 again, second appearance. Cyndi Lauper. This
Wow.
is this is from the New Jersey Network show.
There you go.
hmm David Bowie performing "Slip Away" in concert, and he had the
Uncle
Floyd
Floyd.
images on screen behind him.
Nice.
And Davey with Uncle Floyd on the New Jersey Network show, 1984.
How tall was Uncle Floyd?
Well,
He
we were
doesn't
very
look
close in size.
He wasn't short. He wasn't short. Was he?
okay
No.
because he
I
almost looked
was
the same height as Davey, and I thought Davey was short.
yeah. Yeah, I would say they're about the same height. I'm about and that's and there. Oh, look at that! And this is from Mark Arnold, shit, the Mark Arnold show. And then there's the Ed Riley show.
Hey Fred, was Floyd? I did this movie with the Insane Clown Posse. What was it called? Big Money Hustlers. Was Floyd in that?
Yeah, I
He
think
was
that
in that. Yes, there was a lot of people. Fred rerun Barry was in it. We didn't have any scenes together, but yeah, I remember he was in that. And
right.
the director of that produced the CDU show, the Dr. Demento. He
Yes.
produced that, and when I went to that signing, he recognized me, and I hadn't realized that Floyd was. He shot us all separately here and there. You know what I mean? But Floyd was in that movie. I've got to look. It's a terrible movie, But
I think it's streaming on Amazon.
Oh, is he? I played a Magic Ninja, Magic Ninja #1, as a matter of fact. So.
Oh yeah. Wait a minute, Bob. You're right. I can't see you.
That's right. That's right. I'm the Magic Ninja #1. Yes.
I could look it up. Sorry.
They could have said Fat Ninja, but instead I was Magic Ninja 1. There were two. One was skinny, one was fat. They could have said fat and skinny, but whatever. Yeah.
There you go.
I could look it up, but did Floyd ever do Letterman and different shows like that?
I think he did do Letterman once.
Okay. Like
he
playing
might have.
Schaefer's
He might have
Band,
made
I
an
thought
appearance.
he did. Maybe I'm
Early on in the later hour, when Letterman was on, like at what was it, 12:30 to 1.
NBC. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe early on. I think. Yeah.
I could look it up. But
There's a possibility. There's a possibility he did.
Mhm.
Okay. Anybody else have Uncle Floyd memories?
I'll say one thing that this is one that used to crack me up, and my sister and I would do it and still say it every so often whenever we see cherry cordial candies. Is when he did Eddie Slabo, and he goes, "Does this one have a nut in it?"
No,
this
doesn't
one
have a
doesn't
nut
have
in
a
it.
nut in it.
Does this have a nut in it? No, there's no nut in it.
That would just crack us up, no end. He could just do it forever, and that would be the whole show. We'd be busting up, rolling on the floor.
Now we're gonna eat watermelon doggy style.
I do want to say that the Floyd was truly the ultimate performer, because whether he was just standing in front of his piano, just doing old jokes, or sitting at the piano, or doing a full out burlesque sketch thing, he was always entertaining and very, very personable. And even when he told some jokes that the PC generation didn't approve of him doing a Chinaman or whatever, that type of joke, he had nice little retorts and then he would switch gears, you can tell, to appeal to them. But Groucho Marx once said, and he said this later on in life, I'm sure, because he used to come out in a funny outfit, if you remember Groucho. But he said that a comedian should always come out in a business suit, and then he can go from there. If you come out in a funny outfit, like Milton Berle used to come out in an outrageous outfit, there was no place to go but down. You got that big laugh and down. But Floyd wore a funny outfit, and he was consistently funny. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
the funny outfit didn't have the Groucho mark. And Groucho's correct. He makes perfect sense. You come out with a wild outfit like Milton Berle used to, and then you make a few jokes, and then eventually, it goes downhill because you're not going to top that first appearance. But I think Floyd was able to ride that. You know what I mean? Ride that. It didn't. He came out as a 10, and he stayed a 10.
Let it ride. Let it ride.
Let it ride.
It's a great
Clubhouse.
tribute, Somebody that could be a 10, come out as a 10, and stay as a 10. It's a nice tribute.
Well,
Yeah.
Bob, you and I went to see that burlesque show he did in New Jersey. Remember that?
That was excellent. It was a clip running, actually. I saw.
Yeah, that was like one of the last big shows he did. It was the closest he had done a show with some of the cast members in there in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the older crowd loved it. They were laughing their heads off. But I know some young kids, like from the college, some girls who they were shocked. Said, "How could he do that?"
Yeah, there's a whole PC situation. Unfortunately, it's been going on for a while, and I guess, and it's correct to some degree, but you have to look at it in a historic point of view, if you know what I mean. But
right, if you see it out of context, that's one thing. But if you take it in context, the stuff is still,
yeah, it's not the gospel. He's not telling you this is the truth. He's sort of making fun of the you could say the stereotype or the prejudice. He's, by saying it's funny because it's ridiculous. He's not saying I believe this. Do you know what I mean? But everyone now says things, and you have to back it up, and it's not, it's like, how can you do All in the Family today? You couldn't possibly do All in the Family today.
You couldn't do Blazing Saddles.
You couldn't do Blazing Saddles. You could Young Frankenstein with the Putting on the Ritz song. You can't.
Well, no, look, put it on the Ritz, but not the rape scene.
But guys, yet one of Uncle Floyd's contemporaries, and Uncle Floyd, I don't think ever played Blue, but this guy is the raunchiest and one of the funniest. I think you know who I'm going to talk about is John Valby.
John Valby, yes.
And he goes on, and he's probably the most politically incorrect, dirtiest. Are you, Bucky? You're familiar with him?
Oh yes, I've seen him a bunch of times over the years in the Buffalo area here. So,
well, I think Floyd could get Blue, but it would be more of a Catskill midnight show Blue.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And
I mean, I've been at shows where
today's Blue. It's not today's Blue.
Right.
No, he didn't go that far. But
1950s Blue. Yeah.
He would use naughty situations, and he knew about the
innuendo.
Yeah, it goes innuendo and out the other. There you go.
Yeah.
What's the movie that Chuck McCann's in? About the joke, not the Projectionist, the one about the joke that everybody tells, the
Aristocrat.
The Aristocrats. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Floyd mentioned that, and he said he wasn't in the movie, but he knows about the routine.
Yeah,
and he could, and
that's Gilbert Gottfried territory. That's
Gilbert.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So, we got anything else to say here?
No, I think everybody did a good
video
job.
to play.
Oh, who's got the video?
Oh yeah, video. He's got a video.
Video to play, and then I guess we can start to wrap things up a little bit.
Bucky, do you have anything else?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I remember around late 90s, 2000, there was a TV show. It was like a mafia show. It was called, I think it was Falcone, and he was in the very first episode. He was like, he was like a mob guy.
Yeah.
And the show only ran I think 4 episodes before it got canceled, but Uncle Floyd was in there.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. I just thought I'd bring that one up too.
He skirted big time showbiz, but
yeah,
he didn't really lock in. More big money hustlers with the insane clown posse and Bob Greenberg. You know what I mean? There's more of that.
Right.
Right, and I think he just didn't like the suits, as he called them.
Right.
He wanted to do what he wanted to do, and you can't do that if there's a lot of
Right.
money riding.
Yeah. Yes, Mark.
Before we go, I don't know what we're doing next, but I have to ask about this because it just crossed my mind. Didn't Floyd do like a radio show or something where he played Italian songs and everything?
Yeah,
Yes.
he spoke Italian too.
Yeah.
Was it completely in Italian? Is there a way to hear these? I knew nothing about this until his
I don't know.
passing.
I
Okay.
think the station had stopped broadcasting, and that's why he stopped doing the Italian show.
I
So
think he
what?
did an English version. Did he do an English hour
Well,
and then an
he
Italian
has.
hour or something like that?
There's
Okay, I'd
the
just be curious about what he played and everything. It'd just be kind of interesting.
well, the
And you don't need
WFD.
to understand Italian. It'd just be blah, blah, blah,
Right.
blah, 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 and then the song, and it's like
Well, like I said, WFDU had his garage sale music show, which is right now is still going on, the tribute. But whether it'll be repeated at 7 o'clock tonight or it's a different show, we'll see. But if you can get WFDU on the iHeart app, so you can listen to it there. Anyway, Mark, I mean, and not Mark, Ed, you're going to show a video.
Yes, let me do that. Let me share this.
Okay.
Ed is ready.
Guys, can you hear that?
I see
Yeah.
it.
I see it.
I
I don't
don't hear
hear it.
anything
You
yet.
I
can't
don't
hear it?
anything. No, I can't hear anything.
Oh,
No, can't hear anything.
Let's
Back it up.
check. Chubby checker.
hold on. Let me see. I got to change a setting. Sorry,
Chubby?
guys.
Chubby doesn't look chubby there. He's not chubby.
I met Chubby once.
Yeah.
I did
I'm
too.
still chubby. Okay.
I'm still Chubby.
Well, isn't it nice that
I
he
identify
got?
with Chubby.
Isn't it nice? Isn't it
I
nice that he
check her.
got?
I check her that.
Yeah, but he got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which is nice.
Finally. I liked how he honored it. He decided to go play a concert somewhere else.
Right. Well,
Work
he
is
did pretty
work.
much what the Sex Pistols did. He didn't
Yeah.
show up.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm
You
not
gotta
sure
do
how
it.
to do the how to play the video audio.
I didn't know if he had the volume turned up or not. That's it. It could.
Hmm.
Because
Hey,
the video
Fred,
looked
Hold on.
fine.
I'm gonna try it again.
I was in a Ramones video, a Christmas song or a Hanukkah song. Was Floyd in that too? You remember
He
that?
wasn't not in the videos, but the
Yeah.
Ramones did mention him in the song
Yeah,
"Not My Place." Not
I
My
was in that
Place in the
video.
ninth. Yeah.
I get all these memories. Yeah, the Ramones. And we talked about Uncle Floyd on set.
And
Joey, it was
Peter
Joey. I was with.
and Peter Criss of Kiss, his second solo album, he acknowledged and thanks Uncle Floyd, which is nice.
I'm gonna have to look that up now.
I played a rabbi who goes eat some ham. That was my little part. I think Joey vomits at the end of it or something.
Oh well.
It was a Christmas song or a Hanukkah. Or it was sort of a holiday. It was a holiday video. Yeah,
It's like Merry Christmas, I don't want to fight.
Yeah.
that's probably it. If
Yeah.
you'll see me probably with these glasses on, running around. There was so many people. They had so many ideas, and then they sped everything up. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
but if you can find me, you will. I'm probably downstage. You see me taking some meat. There's supposed to be an insert ham, but it's ham, and I'm eating it. I'm like, I'm supposed to be a rabbi. That was my Ramones contribution.
There you go. Well, I met Joey Ramone on the street on 14th Street. I was going someplace and I saw him. He was trying to get a cab or something.
He was
And
very low key, very
he
nice.
was.
Yeah.
He was very nice. He was very nice. And I remember seeing you on Uncle Floyd tour. Oh yeah, Uncle Floyd. Yeah.
And his brother was in the Rattlers, who was on the Uncle Floyd show
Right.
too.
Yeah. I
How
had
is Jimmy Vivino plays for Conan? What TV
he
show?
was he was the band leader for Conan, I think.
I think he probably still is because Conan does a show.
Right. And
right?
him and his brother Jerry are part of the band the Fab Four.
Right.
You know,
Great band.
a great Beatles tribute
But
band.
they've had a long-term gig with Conan.
Oh yeah.
Right.
I'm having a little technical issue. I'm not sure if I'm going to get that audio up, but what I will do is I will put the video into my links for the
Okay.
video cast or whatever. Okay.
Okay,
So
that
we'll
sounds
do
like a
that.
plan.
And Charles, could you send me, if possible, that interview you did on MMR?
Sure, gladly. Yes.
And then I can put that also in there.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. So, why don't we kind of go around a bit and introduce ourselves again and share where people can find us and if you have any last thoughts you have regarding Uncle Floyd. Mark, you want to start?
I will start as the West Coast representation of Uncle Floyd fan. I'm an author and a podcaster. I've written 2 books about the monkeys with Michael Ventrell. I wrote a book about turtles, not the Ninja Turtles, but the music ones with Charles Rosenay. He'll probably talk about it too. And written many books about cartoons, animation, music, TV, movies. And I host my own Fun Ideas podcast, and many people here have been a guest. Daniel Coston most recently.
And it was fun. It was a fun
Thank
idea.
Daniel?
Well, on that note, I'm Daniel Coston. If you don't know me, I'm Daniel Coston. I'm a writer, photographer, and producer in general, busybody and know-it-all. So I'll mention that news is coming soon on a project I've been working on with the Marx Brothers Estates. So get ready for that. It's very cool. And I've heard rumors that my boss man, Jeremy Clyde of Chad and Jeremy, is ready to start telling people about the project we've been working on for the last year and a half. So stand by for that as well. Please find me on Instagram, Daniel Coston Photos, danielcoston.com, and Daniel Coston on Facebook, and Uncle Floyd Forever.
Yes.
Bucky?
Yes, I'm Bucky Blarr. And also I go under the name RT Buck for the Floyd podcast, or not podcast, but the Stage It shows. I'm RT Buck in the chat room there. And like I said, I'm just happy to be here today with this. It's great. And if you need me, I'm on Facebook. Arthur Bucky Blarr.
Thank you, Bucky. Appreciate it. My friend Charles?
And I just sent it to you, and it gave me an error response that effective 4/30/35, which is, I don't know if it's 1935 or 2035. I will be retiring from SSF Incorporated. I just sent an email to you, and it bounced back.
Oh, interesting.
Is that your correct email?
Well, I did retire, and then I have a new job. But
well, I don't. I need a new email.
Send it to eRising.
Yeah.
4.
Yes.
At AOL.com.
Oh, perfect.
I think you said it in my old business email.
I did. I apologize. As Mark mentioned, we co-authored the Turtles A to Z book, not just happytogether.com, with some great photos from Daniel Coston, for some contributions from Fred Velez. Unfortunately, I didn't know Bob or Bucky, so we couldn't get any Turtles information from you guys. But it's the definitive Turtles book. Really proud of it. I've also authored the book of top 10 Beatles lists, the book of top 10 horror lists, and I'm currently working on 6 different books that I'm about 30% through. So hopefully we'll be able to talk about those things in the future. I wish I knew Uncle Floyd better, but I feel that I knew him and felt close to him from doing the interview, and I was honored to have been able to do that. And from what you guys told me, it would have brought me as much joy watching the show as Soupy Sales did and Chuck McCann and those type of shows. So thank you guys for all you shared today, and for keeping his memory alive.
Thanks, Charles. And Bob?
Yes, I'm Superman. No, I'm Bob Greenberg. You can find me on Instagram. I think it's Actor Comic Bob Greenberg, or is it Bob Greenberg Actor Comic? I think it's Actor Comic Bob Greenberg. And you can find me on Facebook, Bob Greenberg, parentheses, comedian. You see me with Jim Carrey. I'm going like this, you know. But I'm an actor in comic, and I knew Floyd pretty well, and I'll miss him. He's a funny, funny man, and what can I say? The ranks are thinning. W.C. Fields said when John Barrymore passed. The ranks are thinning, and unfortunately they are thinning, but as long as we think of him, he'll live forever, right?
Yes.
Right on.
That's right.
And Fred?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Fred.
Can you? Am I muted?
No, you're too loud.
Okay. I'm Fred Velez, the author of the books, A Little Bit Me, A Little Bit You, The Monkeys from a Fan's Perspective. And also my second book, A Little Bit Me, A Little Bit You 2, The Monkees from International Fan Perspectives. And you can get the books on Amazon. And the first book in particular has stuff about Davy and Peter on the Uncle Floyd show. So if you want to read about Uncle, and Floyd loved being in this book. He said, Fred, thank you for putting me in the book. I said, Floyd, you are officially a part of monkey history. And he was and always will be. And what else? And I'm trying to work on another project. Please keep me in prayer that I get off my butt to really do it. Okay. But
Rise.
yes,
Super.
A
but
little bit me, a little bit you, 3.
yes, but also I want to remind folks about Stage It this Tuesday, uh, the 27th of January. That stageit.com, it will run a special tribute to Uncle Floyd. It's an online show that you have to buy virtual tickets for, and it won't be archived and it won't be streamed. It won't be streamed outside the initial broadcast. So if you want to see it, you got to get your tickets while they're available. I have a feeling because of circumstances, this show is probably going to sell out. So I deeply recommend it. Ed, if you could get this show up before Tuesday, that'd be spiffy.
I'm sure it's going to be
Get
a
it up
great show.
tonight, actually.
Mm.
Get it up on YouTube and onto Facebook, and then Podomatic either tonight or tomorrow.
Got
And
it.
So
tag
we
us.
can
Tag
get
us on.
everything out as soon as
Tag us on
possible.
Facebook too.
And
Absolutely,
also,
yes.
WFDU's tribute to Uncle Floyd will be in their WFDU archives for 2 weeks. So if you miss it today, you can go on the WFDU page, look up the archives, and you should be able to find the Uncle Floyd shows. You can listen to them later on. And again, they'll be available for 2 weeks from the broadcast date.
Super. So my name is Ed Rising, and this is Ed's Pop-O-Matic podcast. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on email, erising4@aol.com. But you can check out our shows on YouTube. We have our own YouTube page now. So just check out YouTube and type in Ed Rising, RISING, or Ed's Pop-O-Matic Podcast, and hopefully you'll find the videos. And we're very lucky we're going into 2026. This is our first show of the year. And we do a lot of retro stuff here, a lot of old TV shows, a lot of music, a lot of Beatles stuff. Really has been probably the more prominent subject, but we get to a lot of different things on the channel, and so I'm looking forward to an exciting new year and continuing to do shows with all these wonderful guests and friends that have joined along the way. So thank you for your support.
Okay, may I?
Am I running out of time?
No. Just want to
Give him
quote.
the hug.
Fred hasn't said enough today. Let him
No,
talk.
I just
Fred, what
want
do
to
you want to
Coston
say?
quote.
also hasn't given
Fred,
all
No,
his
I-
stuff
Fred,
yet.
say
I
something.
just want to
Fred.
quote
Talk to me,
David
Fred.
Bowie from Slip Away. Don't forget to keep your head warm. Twinkle, twinkle, Uncle Floyd. We tip our hat to you.
Oh, that's very nice, Fred.
Beautiful.
Very nice, Fred.
Been
Thank
great.
you, everybody, for being on the show today.
Thank you.
And come on, get happy.
High sign.
I sign.
High sign.